YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to Paul's Wrath. My name is JD, and today we're continuing with our playthrough of Pokémon Crystal in order of the Pokédex. Played through some amazing Pokémon so far. Pokemon I've never used in a challenge before, much less a solo challenge. So it's been a really fun experience, and we're going to continue that trend today with what I think is probably the best design in Generation 2, one of the best Pokemon Generation 2, the pincer Pokemon, Pokemon 212, and that is Scizor. Scizor's stats come in at 70 HP, attack is 130, defense is 100, special attack is 55, special defense is 80, and speed is 65. Speed being 65 is a drop-off from Scizor. It's not too much of a hindrance for this Pokemon because Generation 2 is not a lot of fast Pokemon anyway, and you overlevel a little bit, so it kind of counters it out. The only time this will really rear its ugly head is later in the game when we face Red, but we will have a solution for that. 80 in special defense is actually pretty solid. It's not great, but it's also not bad. It's not going to be a weakness for us, so that's good. Special attack, we only have 3 moves technically that can use special attack, and that is Pursuit, which we'll get at level 12. That will make one problem we have go away immediately. Thief we will not use, and technically Hidden Power if we chose a special typing, but we're not going to use a special type with this. We're going to use something that goes up for a physical attack set. So special attack, even though it is very low, is not going to be a hindrance for us. Defense being 100, it's great because we're still type. Attack is 130, one of the highest attack sets in the game. That's amazing. And to kind of pour some gasoline on fire, we eventually will get access to Sword Dance, making this even better. 70 HP, it's solid. It'll get us through the game. It's nothing to write home about. It's also not a weakness. So let's go ahead and dive into the first battle. First battle is against our rival. Rival's name is !, as per tradition, and he's going to come out with a Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is the best option because we are weak to fire. Actually, its only weakness is fire. We'll go over that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and watch this battle. We named our Pokemon Edward. Comment down below if you get the joke. Edward, the Scizor. And Cyndaquil will come out, and we're going to go for 3 quick attacks. And he actually lowers our defense and tackles us and only does 1 damage. So our defense is very high. It's going to be very potent with this Pokemon. Let's go ahead and progress on, and we'll talk a little bit about this Pokemon while we're doing some training here. We are a Bug Steel type, which initially I didn't think was going to be a great typing. However, with this typing, we only have 1 weakness, which is Fire type, so that's why our rival has Cyndaquil, has an Ember. Eventually, it'll just obliterate us. And then some other Pokemon sprinkled throughout the game will be super effective against us. But other than that, unless it's a Fire move, we really won't take that much damage. We're immune to Poison, and we have resistance to Normal, Bug, Steel, Grass, Psychic, Ice, and Dragon type. Technically, we are resistant to Fairy as well, but we don't have Fairy in this generation, so we don't have to worry about it. This Pokemon is in the medium fast growth rate. I really was surprised looking at its stats that it was in the medium fast. I figured it'd be slow. However, great growth rate. It's going to get us through the game. We're not going to ever feel like we're behind on levels. It's awesome. The only thing I can talk about this Pokemon is its move pool. We start off with Quick Attack and Leer, which do work well together, but Quick Attack's garbage. It does go off our physical attack sets. That's the only benefit to it. And on top of that, we get Pursuit at level 12. We actually get Focus Energy. In this generation, Focus Energy actually does what it says. It's supposed to make you 4 times more likely to hit a critical hit, whereas in Generation 1 it actually nerfs it and makes it 4 times less likely. So that's what Focus Energy does. In this generation is corrected, so it does have some utility a little bit, but not a lot. So that's just something to keep in mind that we will have in our move pool. Pursuit, like I said, it's going to be great for our second rival when our rival has a Ghastly and we have a super effective move. That's the only reason why Pursuit will be used in this playthrough. It's not really a move that's great. And then False Swipe, it's a garbage move, not going to use it. Agility is a move that's going to help us. It sucks that we get this so early that we have to hang on to it to use it against Red at the end of the game. However, it is amazing and we'll get the job done. Metal Claw is used in this playthrough. I will not be using it in the optimized playthrough. It's just not great. It's 50 base power, it's 75 with stab, and it's 95% accurate. And there's just moves that we're going to have that are a lot more powerful that we're going to be able to use. Not to mention, not a lot of things are weak to steel, so we're not going to have an advantage over anything. Slash, great move, not going to use it in this playthrough. Swords Dance, excellent move. We'll use it ups your attack stat by 2 stages. You can do that 3 times. And Double Team. Double Team is allowed in this game because Double Team can actually just up your evasion, doesn't do the bad use. I'm sorry, we are actually fighting Faulkner. And Faulkner in this battle, he has Tackle and Mud Slap on the Pidgey. Since Tackle is completely ineffective, he'll just going to spam Mud Slap, which is why our actually is -6. All of our moves are 33% accurate now, so it's going to be a crapshoot. We do have a Berry equipped. We will 3-shot the Pidgeotto. We did go for a Focus Energy, which does absolutely nothing because it doesn't actually help us crit at all. But we get our actually lowered, and we do win, but it's a win that wasn't as convincing as I'd like it to be. I'd like it to be a little more impressive, a little more predominant. Like we had control of it. We were out of control, and that was all luck based. We do grab Swift. It's an upgrade over Quick Attack, and we're going to Super Send these battles. I do fight them, I promise. It's just I just don't like to show them because it takes a lot of time. And I try to keep my videos between a certain amount of time. And now we're going to go ahead and face a Bugsy. Bugsy is a bug specialist, and he leads out with a Metapod. We're going to go for Focus Energy, get our our critical hit rate up, the possibility of more critical hits, so we can easily get through this battle. So a critical hit would have one-shot the Kakuna there. That's why it's important. and we're going to go for Swift. And it's also the reason why I don't like using Focus Energy, because it really sometimes doesn't look like it works. Like, we just went through two of our major landmark fights, and we didn't get one critical hit for a Pokemon that has pretty decent speed and should critical hit a decent amount. And we just did the move, and it didn't even help us. So now we're going to face our problem. Problem is our rival, our second rival, Ghastly. What we're trying to do initially is use Fury Cutter. Fury Cutter, if you don't know what it does, over multiple turns it doubles its output of damage. So for example, we're starting out at 4 because Ghastly is resisted. And the second turn it'll go for 8, and it'll go for 16, and then it'll go for 32. It'll gradually progress. And what we want is you want to build that combo, and then when he brings out Cyndaquil, you're already built up enough that you can one-shot Cyndaquil, and we don't have to deal with his fire moves. However, this is just not working. Ghastly likes to put people to sleep. He also can go for Lick. And also, Fury Cutter is only 95% accurate, so it does have a propensity to miss. And what we learn here is this is just like a crapshoot at this point. Because I'm like, what are we going to learn from this battle? What we learned is we can two-shot Q-Lava. However, we get burned here, so we don't have the ability to hit that second hit. So now we got to take a reset. We're going to take a reset on this Pokemon, first reset of the game, and we're going to face him one more time. We are learning some information, though, that's going to be very helpful in the optimized playthrough. That Pursuit is close to a one-shot. It doesn't one-shot here, but we do get paralyzed, so we're going to take another reset. And spoiler alert, in this one, we actually do get the one-shot on the Ghastly. So it's a range. It's just right there. Maybe another level would help this. Maybe there's a better move out there. In the optimized playthrough, we'll have a move that I'm going to use. That'll be very useful in this battle, you'll see. And then Ghastly comes out, and we're going to one-shot this time. Pursuit one-shots. It's a range. Didn't get a critical hit or nothing. It's just, it's just in that range of knocking out. And Swift, like I said, will two-shot the Q-Lava. However, he crits on an Ember, puts it down to 4 health. And if we don't knock out the Zubat, it can knock us out. We do get the knockout. We do get the win over our rival. That was scary. But we do get the win nonetheless. And now we're going to move right on and go ahead and grab some items here. We got an item here. We're going to grab the Super Potion. Don't know if you know it's there, but it's on the ground. Now we grab Headbutt from the guy with green hair. And we're going to progress right on to Goldenrod City. In Goldenrod City, we do a couple errands, but now we're going to go and face Whitney. Whitney is the normal gym leader. She's going to give us a nice boost to all of our normal moves once we beat her. That's why it's kind of important to get this. Headbutt will go from 70 to 77 once this is done, and eventually we'll get the move Return. Return will also be very helpful. We're going to one-shot this Snubbull. That was another fun Pokemon we just played through as. Recommend you go check that out. And now we're going to go ahead and face Whitney. I used to always face these battles in here, but now I've skipped over them. Whitney will be a cakewalk. We have high attack stat with a higher level. Headbutt will be a two-shot. Even though, Clefairy hits us, it doesn't do nothing. Now Miltank comes out. It doesn't have a great move for us. The only thing I think it could really do is maybe if it outsped to go for Stomp. That might make it, an acceptable battle. But we get the win over Whitney. And we have some very nice hit points right there. 69. Very nice. And now I actually was playing this a little bit tired. So I kind of have some spots in here. And I thought I deleted that. Where I kind of just paused and nodded off for a second. I was very tired playing this playthrough. So this playthrough will get a lot crisper in the second playthrough. Can't wait for that. And now we're going to talk to this eavesdropper. Now we're going to grab the squirt bottle. And we're going to go ahead and squirt a tree. That's actually a rock, but it thinks it's a tree. And that is Sudowoodo. And he comes out. We don't have a great move for Sudowoodo. He doesn't have a great move for us. So it's just a battle attrition. Luckily, he can't heal. And he's going to do no damage to us. We're going to do no damage to him. It's going to be a knockout. We get the win over Sudowoodo. And now we're going to learn Agility. Now this is where I had to make a choice. If I skip over Agility here, I wouldn't have it later. I kept it. And it wasn't a bad decision. It was a pretty good decision. Definitely has some use, some utility in the playthrough. But now we're going to grab Hidden Power. We went with Hidden Power Ground here. Hidden Power Ground will make, first off, Ghost types pretty useless. And it also helps against other Steel types. So that's going to be pretty useful as well. It also goes off for physical attack stats. That's the other benefit to it. And we one-shot. Fire Pokemon are now one-shottable. Because Fire Pokemon are weak to ground Pokemon or ground moves as well. Like we just one-shot that Flareon right there. Flareon, it went up to 140 effective power. So that's pretty good. We'll take that. And right now we're facing Komodo Girls. And I'll quickly just say what I always say. We're facing Komodo Girls. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Liking helps out the algorithm. Commenting helps out the algorithm. If you subscribe, it tells YouTube you want to come back and watch my videos. And if you share, your friends get access to it. And they might like it. They might subscribe. I'm really trying to get to 700 subscribers by the end of June. That's really what my goal is. I'm at 630 now, so it's going to be a daunting uphill battle. But you know what? I'm up for it. And we return on the Jolteon, knock it out. And we're going to progress right on to our next battle, next landmark fight, which is against our rival. Rival in Burnt Tower. Rival number 3, I believe it is. And he's going to lead out. I think he's going to lead out with a Haunter? Or Golbat? No, Haunter. Okay. Haunter's going to go down to 1 Hidden Power Ground. That's why we got this move. It's going to make all Ghost-type Pokemon completely obsolete. We're not going to have a problem with them. Q-Lava, Hidden Power Ground. You should go for Hidden Power Ground, done the same thing. But Magnemite comes out, Hidden Power Ground. and then return on the Zubat. It really goes off a really amazing stat using Hidden Power Ground because it goes off physical attack. Like Hidden Power Ice wouldn't have been bad, for example, but it doesn't go off our higher attacking stat, it goes off the lower one, so it wouldn't have been as potent. Kind of like how it was with what Pokemon was it? Was it Snubble or was it Lava? One of them two had a very bad special, so Hidden Power Ice wasn't that effective with it. We are now facing Morty. Morty is a ghost specialist, and we one-shot the Gassy, one-shot the Haunter, we one-shot the Gengar, and we're going to one-shot the last Haunter. Now here's where we're going to learn Metal Claw, and then, like I said, in the next playthrough I will not learn Metal Claw. It has no real utility, it's not that useful, other than maybe power points for attacking. That's really all it can be beneficial for, but I have an idea for the second playthrough that I'm going to use instead of Metal Claw. But now we're going to move right on to old Chucky Boy. Chucky Boy's going to throw a rock, he thinks he's a Pokemon, and he's going to lead out with Primeape. Primeape comes out, now we have a really high attack stat, return is 126 effective power, so we're going to one-shot the Primeape. Poliwrath is a little bit more bulky, so it does tank one, so it's a 2-hit on the Poliwrath. We beat Chucky Boy, and we move right on to Jasmine's Gym. Jasmine is the Steel type specialist, and Steel is the hardest type to deal with for the most part in this game, and we're going for Hidden Power Ground. It's a one-shot, very good. Hidden Power Ground on the Steelix looks like it's going to be a 3-shot. It doesn't heal. Iron Tail doesn't do squat to us because we resisted to our own typing, and then Magnemite comes out. Hidden Power Ground on the Magnemite. We get the knock, we get the win. We get a pretty easy win over Jasmine. Pretty convincing. And now we're going to move right on and face old Gyarados. Hulked out Gyarados. He's all red. And now he's going to come out. Return is going to be a 2-shot bite. Barely tickles us. We knock it out. Get the win over red Gyarados. And we're going to go ahead and talk to that weird guy with the cape. We're not going to showcase any of the stuff we do with him. We have one battle in here against the Snowboarder. And Shelter's going to come out. And we're going to return on the Shelter. That's how you know you have great attack stat, where this Pokemon has high defense and you still are like pretty much 1 and 2-shotting. Not only Shelter, but also Cloyster, so that's pretty good. 1 shot on the Shelter, effective, very good. And now it leads us right into our next gym battle, which is Price. Price is the Ice Gym leader, and he leads out with a Seal and then Dugong Gong Gong. Seal, the actual name of a real animal, which technically a Dugong is a real animal too, but this Seal is just sounds dumb. This Dugong is spelled like a Pokemon. And the way other Dugong is spelled is not like that. So we do get a 1-shot, very good. And now our last Pokemon we have to face, Metal Claw on the Piloswine. We get the knockout, get the win. Very easy win over Price. He's usually a pushover anyway. So we leave here and we're going to face our next battle, which is against our rival. Skip over Lava Rocket plotline. Not something I need to be showing you. And we're going to dive into our next rival battle. He has a Golbat. Golbat will go down to 1 return, very good. And then pretty much the rest of these Pokemon we can just spam Hidden Power Ground. And we're going to get a Metal Claw. And so now our moveset is Return, Hidden Power, Agility, and Sword Dance. So we're just going to spam Hidden Power. The only thing I might do differently is Hidden Power. I might switch to just Return on the Sneasel, just because we can hit Sneasel with it and probably still knock it out. Just for PowerPoint purposes, we don't want to go back and heal. But we switch to Return, knock out the Sneasel. Get a pretty easy win over our rival. And I'm not going to talk about the rest of the Rocket plotline. We're going to jump right into our next landmark fight. I call battles you have to do to progress the game landmark fights. And now this is Claire. This is part of my Claire sandwich. Dragonair comes out. Is it a return? It is. You gotta be careful with these Dragonair. They do have Thunder Wave. All of them have Thunder Wave. And then you have a mixture. One has Ice move, one has Water move, and one has Electric moves. So you have to worry about that and contend with that. However, we knock out all 3 of the Dragonair. And now we are going to knock out the Kingdra. Now she does go for a heal. Maybe going for Hidden Power Ground and maybe doing only half damage would have prevented the heal, saving a couple more seconds. But we get the Gym Badge over Claire. And now we're going to go ahead and progress here and face our rival. Didn't save. That's how arrogant I was about how good we were doing this battle. But didn't even save. Sneasel comes out. Sneasel Pleasel. And return on 1-shot to Sneasel. We're going to go for Sword Stance just to make sure that we beat everything pretty handily, I guess is my logic. So we knock out the Sneasel. We level up. Now Q-Lava comes out. Hidden Power Ground is a 1-shot. Very good. Our attack stat after only 1 Sword Dance is 378. So anything we hit now will go down. We'll go down very quickly. And there's nothing that they can do about it. I guess maybe you could use Thief and steal it off me or whatever. But I don't think any of these Pokemon have Thief. No, they don't. And we 1-shot the Kadabra. So we get the win over our rival. And that's what progress us right onto the Elite Four. We're going to go ahead and heal up our Pokemon, and we're going to dive right into it. We have deposited our HM friends, and we've also grabbed a couple full restores, so we're about to head into the Elite Four. But first, let's review the moves and review the stats of this Pokemon. Moves first. Our moves are as follows. Return, Hidden Power, Ground, Agility, and Sword Dance. That's all we need. We need a move that can hit Ghosts, because Return can't hit Ghosts, so we need a move that can hit Ghosts, which is Hidden Power. And we have another move that's a good physical attack stat, and will go off for, or it's a good physical move that'll go off for physical attack stat, which is return. And then agility, we probably won't use at all in any battles in the Elite Four at all. We won't use this until red, and then Swords Dance will up our attack stat by 2 stages. Let's go ahead and look at the stats of this Pokemon. Attack is 168, defense 141, special attack 97, special defense is 121, and speed is 107. That's our out-of-battle stats. Our in-battle stats in the bottom left corner. Attack is 189, defense is 158, special attack is 109, special defense is 121, and speed is 120. All those things are solid. Let's go and dive into the playthrough. First member Elite Four is Will. We technically would be weak to Will for this bug type, but the metal type I think counters that, so we are resisted to normal moves. Comes out with a Johto. I don't think we have to do much here. Return on the Johto, it's a one-shot. I think we could probably one-shot most of this team, but I think we don't want to set up on the Johto. It has Confuse Ray, that's why I'm not doing it. And now we have Executor come out, and we go ahead and go for Swords Dance, which will up our attack stat by 1 stage. And now we're, 2 stages, so now our attack stat's really high, so we should be able to one-shot the Jinx, very good. And now Slowbro comes out. Is Slowbro a one-shot? It is not. However, it's going to be a two-shot, and just goes for a dumb move anyway. Get the very easy win over Will, and that progresses us right onto Koga. Koga, who is the poison specialist, he's going to come out and face us with an Ariados. Ariados, not the best Pokemon to set up on because it can always go for double team and up its evasiveness, so you can sit here and twiddle your thumbs and keep missing. But we're going to go for return, get a first hit knockout over the Ariados, a one hit, a no-ko as they call it, 1 hit on the Venomoth, very good. Fortress comes out, and we're going to go for Hidden Power Ground. It's a one-shot as well, and I think we're going to one-shot everything in here. With our stats boosted, there's really nothing that's going to be able to, take the hit and keep coming. Return on the Crobat, we get the knockout, get the win. Pretty easy win, took almost no damage, and we're going to move right on to the next member of the Elite Four, I should say, not gym leader, which is Bruno. Bruno, we don't really talk about very much. In this game, he's actually pretty solid, but we're going to go ahead and set up on the Hitmontop. It's not going to do that much damage to us anyway. The Hitmontop, we're going to go for Swords Dance 1, Swords Dance 2. Even though it's underground, we still want to just go ahead and set it up. We're going to go for Return. He goes for Detect, but now we get the knockout. Detect works basically like Protect, so one shot on the Hitmonchan. I'll be very surprised if we don't one-shot anything in here. Hitmonlee's a one-shot as well. Machamp comes out, go for Hidden Power Ground. Maybe I should have gone for Return, just stuck with it. But I thought, you know what, I think it's going to knock out anyway. It's only not much difference in the power output anyway, so let's go, let me do that. We get the win over Bruno, and now we move right on to Karen. Karen can be a problem, because she can cause you to have a lot of resets. You can't really set up on the Umbreon, because he likes to go for Confuse Ray, and he likes to go for Sand Attack. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock out the Umbreon as quick as possible. We got 1 Swords Dance in, and so now we don't want to set up on anyone else, because Houndoom is a bad Pokemon to set up on, and the reason why he has a fire move, so he can obliterate us. Vileplume can paralyze us, so we don't want to set up there. Gengar comes out, Hidden Power Ground's a one-shot, so we don't have to worry about him. And then Murkrow, I think, has a Whirlwind, which is probably the worst thing for us. But we do get the knockout, get the win. And the reason why I say that is it's worse for us if we had our Pokemon with us, like our HM Mules. So that's why I say Whirlwind's probably the worst move in it facing the Elite Four. But now we're facing the champion of the Elite Four, which is Lance, the liar with the flyers. Returns a one-shot on the Gyarados, so you get 1 Sword Dance in. Is this going to be enough to obliterate his team? We already got the Charizard out of the way, so there's the 2 problematic Pokemon. Return on Dragonite, very good. And Dragonite number 2, I'm sorry, gets a knockout, very good. Dragonite number 3, it's going to be a one-hit knockout as well. If you knock out the level 51, you definitely knock out the level 47 one, unless you get a really bad range. We're going to go for Return on the Aerodactyl. It's a one-shot, very good. Very easy, very clean win over Lance. And now we're going to go ahead and get our time locked in at 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 48 seconds. Very solid time for a first playthrough. Do I think there's room for improvement? Absolutely. There's no reason why we need to be level 54. We could probably do this at level 50 if we just play smart and set up properly. So I think there's a lot more we can get out of this Pokemon than what we got. But for a first time playthrough, I'm very happy with the results. First time attempt, but we're not done yet. We still have another whole map we got to take care of. We got to take care of Kanto. So I'll see you guys in Kanto. Now that we're in Kanto, we're going to take on the gym leaders. And the gym leaders here are absolutely just atrocious. We're just going to obliterate everything in our path. It's going to be very quick battles. You're going to have 5 up, 5 down, very quick knockouts. Go for Hidden Power Ground on the Raichu and just spam Hidden Power Ground. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this channel. So we're getting into some really good Pokemon, and we're also getting some really bad Pokemon. The next Pokemon on the docket after we do an optimized Scizor is a Pokemon called Shuckle. Shuckle is, it's better than some Pokemon, I guess, if you look at it in a sense that it is better than Ditto. It is better than probably Wobbuffet. So there are some benefits to that. So Shuckle is like the next Pokemon I'm real excited about. I am also excited about the Pokemon after Shuckle, which is Heracross, which is a bug fighting type. First of its kind. I mean, Pinsir probably should have been the first bug fighting type, but I digress. That's going to be very exciting. And over on the blue side, we are really getting into the weeds on some things. We just finished up the rock type. I do have to do some second playthroughs. There's a lot of Pokemon. I have 6 Pokemon I got to do second playthroughs on, so that's not going to come out this Friday. This Friday, the next type I will do in Pokemon Blue, where the best of every type is going to be the poison type. We have a handful of Pokemon. I think it's 5 Pokemon that can compete in the poison type that haven't been in the grass or the poison, or I'm sorry, the grass, the bug, or the ground type or whatever. So we got some pretty fun Pokemon. I think I have a Pokemon in mind that's going to take the championship of that category. Now, eventually at the end, we're going to look at all the ground types, all the poison types together, even if they participated in other challenges, and we'll rank them accordingly. But I'm just doing this to make it so I'm not playing through 30 Pokemon and then have to do another 30 Pokemon and then do a recap video on 30 Pokemon. I'd rather just keep it small and incremental as much as possible. We don't have a lot of types after this. I think after we do the poison type, we have Psychic, Water, and Normal type. Those are the most, I think they're pretty abundant, to be honest, in Generation 1. Poison's the most abundant. Water, I think, is second most abundant. So there's a lot of types. And then next thing we're going to do as well is, like I said, we have a prediction coming out this Friday for the poison types. And then we're going to do, I haven't decided the order. I think poison types, and then I might do water. I think water, Psychic has a little bit less types than water. I haven't decided yet. Water or Psychic is definitely going to be next. I'm not going to do normal type next. I also have some Pokemon I didn't have no second playthroughs for that are not in the rock type challenge. So I want to do that as well. Just get this on the docket. So I've got a lot of other things going on the channel right now. And I'm excited about it. I really am. I'm really excited about Generation 1. We're about to wrap it up. The only thing I want to do in Generation 1 after this entire challenge that I'm doing right now is maybe just do maybe some what if scenarios, and then I'm pretty much done with Generation 1. Maybe I'll go into Pokemon Yellow. Let me know if you want to see that. I want to see you play through Pokemon Yellow. I know Pokemon Yellow has different challenges. They've actually nerfed some Pokemon. Like I was watching a video the other day with Scott's Thoughts and Zelispawn, where Zelispawn played through with Pokemon Yellow, but he used Pokemon Yellow's Gyarados, which only starts the game with Tackle, and you can't get other stuff level 20. And then there's the red and blue Gyarados that if you start the game with Gyarados, it already has Hydro Pump, it already has Bite, it has Dragon Rage. I don't know the other move. I forget the other move. But it has all those moves. I think it's Leer. And it has all those moves, and he played through and compared and contrasted the difference between having these moves and how much faster the game moves and things like that. And right now we're going to go and talk about Blue. Blue is the last gym leader we need to beat before we can actually head to Silver, or Mount Silver I should say, and face Red. And then Pidgeot comes out, and we're going to go for Sword Dance on the Pidgeot. It really can't do that much to us, so we're going to go for Setup. And even though Wing Attack, it's Stab for him, but it's not super effective against us because we cancel it out with the Steel type. Return on the Arcanine, and this should be a clean sweep. We've set up the +4. There is not a Pokemon here that should survive anything we do unless we misclick, which I don't plan on taking my finger off the return button to return on the Executor. Very good. The only Pokemon I might switch it up for is to go for Hidden Power Ground. Yeah, I do. And that's on Rhydon, so that's a pretty easy win over the Rhydon, and now Alakazam is the final Pokemon. Do we one-shot? We do. We obliterate Blue, and that leads into our next battle, which is against Red. So we saw we did the Blue. We saw what can happen when we actually are prepared, and we are prepared right now. What we want to do first is knock out the Pikachu. He's not a good Pokemon to set up on. He can do Charm and lower your attack stat. He can also paralyze you with Thunderbolt and Thunder. What we're going to set up on is the Venusaur. We can go to +6 on the Venusaur when it comes to our physical attack stat, and then we go for agility up on our speed so we can outspeed all the Pokemon. Without using agility, we will lose to Charizard because he will go first. And the sun is up. I think the sun went down right as he came up, but he could definitely obliterate us if the sun's up. But now, because of all of our attack stats are up to 999, every Pokemon will go down to return. The only downside that you can have on this is Espeon. If it came out second, it could possibly go for Reflect and mess up your world, but we get the win, get the knockout over Blue, and get a time locked in at 1 hour, 25 minutes, 54 seconds. Is this a great time? It's an okay time. If you look at the rest of the Pokemon in our challenges, you're going to see that it is actually a pretty good time compared to the rest of the Pokemon in our challenges. Anytime you get under an hour and a half on the first playthrough, that's solid. I've seen Scott's Thoughts do this and get this around an hour and 5 minutes, so that's something I'm excited about. We'll potentially get to that point. Let's go and look at our tier list and see where this Pokemon ranks. So, at a time locked in at 1 hour, was it 1 hour and 25 minutes and some odd seconds? We get our time locked in right here behind Politoed. And it's only behind Politoed by 0.07 seconds. It's very short. I have no doubt in my mind that this will be faster by the time it's all said and done than Politoed. I think we'll actually probably move up at least to the A tier, if not maybe the SS tier. I think this Pokemon can do it. We're going off Scott's Thoughts playthrough. He went through and he beat the game in 1 hour and 5 minutes and some odd seconds. So that's I don't want to say that's the benchmark. He plays differently than me, and he's a better player than I will ever be. But I enjoy watching his videos. Definitely teaches me a lot of things about this game. And yeah, this was a great Pokemon. Pokemon's solid. I'm excited to play through it. Now, we do have a playthrough next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we had a couple options here. So here's our egg move set, which if you don't know what we do in the optimized playthrough, we give our Pokemon an egg move or an event move. Or I'm making a rule now that if you don't have a good one of these, you can go off a prior evolution move. And that's because this Pokemon here has given us that possibility. Baton Pass, garbage move in a solo playthrough. Counter, not a bad move, but I don't want to use Counter. Light Screen, not a bad move, don't want to use it. Razor Wind, garbage move, don't want to use it. Reversal, not the worst move, but I don't want to use it. And Safeguard, not sure how I would use that in a playthrough. I mean, I know how to use it, but I just don't think it'd be very useful with this Pokemon. Safeguard would be good for Pokemon like Shuckle, that's trying to like stall you out or something. That'd be great, but it wouldn't be good for this Pokemon. And somehow this Pokemon can mate with Shuckle. That's pretty weird. It's that's pretty weird, pretty awful, not awesome. I was gonna say awful, but just the thoughts of that. But here's what I am going to do, is this Pokemon does have a prior evolution in Scizor, and in that prior evolution, I didn't know it got Sonic Boom in this generation, but it can get Wing Attack. 60 base power, 100% accurate. I think I'm going to start the game with Wing Attack, and that's going to make the early part of the game go very fast. I have no doubt in my mind we'll just obliterate just a lot of things in our path, but ultimately, that is the playthrough. I'm just in the comment section down below. This is JD, this is Polyol's Wrath. I really enjoyed this video, really enjoyed this Pokemon. I cannot wait to do the optimized playthrough. Make sure you turn in Friday. We're going to have a prediction video for the poison types. I think we only have a handful of poison types. Let me bring up the poison type list I have really quick, and I'll just go ahead and tell you which ones we're playing through as. There are a lot of poison type, like I said, in Generation 2. I'm sorry, in Generation 1. There's a lot of them. So, like, for example, Oddish line, Bellsprout, and Bulbasaur line, those aren't included. Why? Because they participate in the grass type. Beedrill, Venonat, Haunter, those Pokemon participated in other challenges, so they won't be included. Nidoran, Nidoqueen, Nidoking, they won't be participating in this. Alright, so the Pokemon that we have available to us to play through in this challenge is going to be Weezing. We're also going to have Muck. We're also going to have Arbok, Golbat, and then the last Pokemon is going to be Tentacruel. I think Tentacruel will be the best Pokemon, and I'll explain why in my video. It comes out on Friday. So let me know what you think. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys on Friday.